Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. To be Honorable Miss Aisyah Al-baroroh as the academic presentation lecturer. At the end of this special time, I'm Shelly Audita Andani from class SEGP 004. And today I will present my final exam with the title, What is Literature? Okay, before going into the material and explanation, I want to ask a question. What is literature? Why do we read it? And why is literature important? Okay, now let's get into the material and explanation. The first one is, what is literature? Literature is a term used to describe writing and sometimes spoken material. They refer from the Latin literature meaning writing format with letters. Literature most commonly refer to works of the creative imagination, including poetry, drama, fiction, non-fiction, journalism, and in some instance, and song. The common definition of literature, particularly for university courses, are that it covers the major genres of poetry, drama, and novel or fiction. The term also implies literary quality and destination. This is a very basic view of literature because, as mentioned in its introduction, the meaning of the term has undergone change and will no doubt continue to do so. Most contemporary literary histories show a shift from the ballast letter tradition, which has a concern with finding beauty, elevated use of language, emotional effect, and moral sentiments before something could be called literature. Okay, the second one is, why do we read literature? Okay, simply put, literature represents the culture and tradition of a language or a people. It's difficult to precisely define. Through many have tried, it's clear that the self-definition of literature is constantly changing and evolving. And the last one is, why is literature important? Ultimately, we may discover a meaning in literature by looking at the author writing or say, and how he or she say it. We may interpret and debate an author's message by examining the words he or she chooses in a given novel or work, or observing which character or voice serves as the connection to the reader. In academia, this decoding of the text is often carried out through the use of literary theory, using a methodological, sociological, psychological, historical, or another approach to better understand the context and depth of works. Works of literature at their best provide a kind of a blueprint of human civilization. Okay, the three main ways of approaching a definition of literature are relativism, subjectivism, and agnosticism. Okay, the first one is with relativism. There are no value distinction in literature. Anything may be called good literature. Okay, the second one is subjectivism. As the term implies, means that all theories of literary value are subjective and that literary valuation is a personal matter. And the last one is agnosticism. Follow from subjectivism, truth it argues the truth there may be real distinction in literature value. Our subjective value system prevents us from knowing anything about the real values. Okay, example literature. The first one is primary literature, such as is research magazines, commercial literature, thesis, doctor's dissertation, research report, scientific meeting report, patent, standard artifact, audio recordings, diaries, internet communication, interviews, journal article publishing, and letters. The second one is secondary literature, such as is index, abstracts, manual, scientific books, development, review, literature surveys or subject bibliologies, and encyclopedias, newspaper, magazine, and dictionaries. And this last one is tertiary literature, such as is almanacs, literature manuals, bibliologies such as research lists, dictionaries, book or magazine lists, magazine master catalogs, index lists, and abstract. Okay, that's all for my explanation. I hope my explanation is enough to understand. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate the feedbacks or criticism you gave me today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.